It was all such a blur of events. You were running from a monster in your mother's embrace, then at the beach, and now you are back in your room. Next to you on your bed was your book and pen. Donna had to have been the one to put them there. She also must have been the one to bring you to your bed. But the horrific monster was burned into your mind. You were still convinced that all wasn't a dream. After the incident, Donna and Angie has stayed distant from you, and you have done the same. Every time you saw one of them, you would go the other way. Today was another day of complete silence. On the table was a note for you. You picked up the note and quickly read it. It was a shopping list. Lady Beneviento wanted you to get some fabric and thread from Duke. Your eyes shifted to the basket that was adjacent to where the note was. A small part of you was happy that you have heard from Lady Beneviento after a good mouth of silence. That small part didn't matter if it was through a note. The rest of you was now on the edge with Lady Beneviento. You were still Lady Beneviento's maid and have a duty to fulfill. You grabbed the basket, the list, and your book and pen. You stopped at the front doors of the Beneviento Manor. How long has it been since you've stepped foot outside? The moment you opened the doors, the cool breeze hit you face. It's been so long. You walked the one path that lead out and into Lady Beneviento's territory. Walking through the gate, you got many whispers about you. How someone came back alive from the Beneviento Manor. It was unsettling to have eyes on you. It was no secret that you were Lady Beneviento's maid. The Beneviento pin was on your work uniform for all to see. It was sewn into the fabric. You found Duke by the church and a sigh of relief left your lips. You walked up to Duke with a warm smile. "Hello, little lady. How may I help you?" You handed Duke the list that Lady Beneviento entrusted you with. "Ah, Lady Beneviento's fabrics and thread." Yes, yes. Duke beamed. "If I may have that basket of yours, I can put them in for you." You handed Duke the basket, making sure to take your book and pen out. Duke then started to put in what appeared to be very expensive fabric in the basket along with the thread. You seem to be the quiet type. Duke spoke. You opened your book and started writing. You held it up for Duke to read. "I'm mute by birth. I'm unable to talk. I'm sorry if I came off as rude." Duke's eyes widened. "Oh no, please don't think you were being rude. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure it must be hard for you, especially being Lady Beneviento's maid. I guess you are luck that you weren't given to Lady Dimitrescu." You gave Duke a nervous smile. "Don't worry. If Lady Beneviento wanted to kill you, she would have done so already. The fact that she kept you alive for 3 months means a lot. You wish you could say that was reassuring." Your mind wandered back to the poor man that Lord Heisenberg brought to Lady Beneviento. Then the look on his face, the faint blood stains that you saw on the floor that lead to the elevator. You weren't allowed to go back down into Lady Beneviento's workshop after that incident. You fear that she killed that man, and Duke's words reinforced that thought. "Here you are," Duke said, handing you the basket now full with fabric and thread. You smiled at Duke before bowing. "So well trained. No wonder Donna likes you." Your blood ran cold and your smile dropped. You recognized that voice. You turned around to see Lord Heisenberg with his hammer over his shoulder and cigar between his fingers. Because you were in another lord's presence, you timidly bowed. Lord Heisenberg snickered. "Damn, Donna got lucky with you. Shame you weren't given to me. I would have put you to good use." You were getting very uncomfortable. So, you bowed again before waving at Duke and Lord Heisenberg. You sprinted past Lord Heisenberg, completely ignoring his shouts. You were hoping that this wouldn't lead to something bad. You quickly went through the gate and continued to run to Lady Beneviento's manor. A random thought did pop up into your head. You could run away, far, far away, and never look back. But where would you go? You don't know what's outside the village, and who knows if Mother Miranda would be able to find you or not. Oh, the consequences that would follow. You were trapped here and you would just have to accept it. You opened the doors to the house and closed them quietly behind you after you stepped in. You jumped when you saw a few dolls zoom by with what appeared to be weapons. They ignored you completely as they seemed like they were looking for something. You were frozen in shock. You actually saw the dolls move and they had weapons. You swallowed hard and your mind raced with panic. What was going on? And were you going to get hurt? Was Lady Beneviento planning on killing you now? Should you run away? You placed the basket onto the table and decided that it would be best to head to your room and wait for Lady Beneviento or Angie to come get you. You held your book tightly into your chest along with your pen. You pressed on the first step of the bottom of the stairs, which let out a really loud creak. You then felt a wave of pain hit your head. Your head felt fuzzy again. You tightly shut your eyes, wondering why this would happen ever so often. A sigh left your lips and you continued up the stairs. As you got halfway up, a loud pair of footsteps came running at you. You didn't have time to react. All you knew was that someone had tackled you and you were now falling down the stairs. Your back hit the wood floor hard, forcing the air to get knocked out of you. Your body started to scream in pain, but once your eyes adjusted, you saw a man next to you with blood on his face and body. It looks like he was beaten. The man's eyes shot wide open, causing you to sit up and move away. Your book and pen have slid across the floor and the man grabbed your pen and went at you. He was stronger than you and pushed you down onto the floor. Your head was hit hard against the wood floor and now started to throb in pain. The man held up the pen, stabbing you in your left shoulder. You sucked in a lot of air as tears pricked your eyes. The man swung down again, nicking the left side of your cheek, and you felt the blood spill out. The man got ready to swing down again, but you caught him by the wrist. Yes, your body was screaming at you in pain. Your head throbbed in pain, making it hard to focus. You weren't very strong and you knew that, but it wasn't going to stop you from trying to survive. Your arm was shaking as the man started to overpower you. You thought this was it. This was how you were going to die. To a madman, ready to give up. You heard a bunch of laughter that belonged to the dolls you saw earlier. Once they saw you, however, they growled and went ballistic. They attacked the man, effectively getting him off of you. You just laid there slowly blacking out. Before you were consumed by the abyss, you saw Lady Beneviento and Angie come your way. To you, it was nice to see them one last time. It was an odd feeling to have as you held some resentment and feared the pair. Soon you blacked out and everything felt cold. It felt like you were packed into snow. That's how cold you felt. The question that came to mind was, are you dead? A few people that you've met in the village before serving Lady Beneviento have had stories that before you die, you get really cold and all you see is darkness. You couldn't see anything and it felt like you were floating. You figured that you were on the brink of death. Sorrow and pain gripped your heart. You couldn't get to see your mother one last time. You were certain that your mother worried about your safety every day. Ever since the incident with your father, your mother has worried for your safety, even over the smallest of things. You still remember your mother's face when Miranda chose you to serve. She couldn't argue back, but her face told the whole story. You felt a sharp pain in your shoulder, then your left cheek, the places that the man had hurt you. You then started to hear faint voices, but they were clear to understand. Is she going to die? I mean, she only got stabbed in the shoulder with her own pen, not to mention the deep cut on her cheek. She should be fine. That high-pitched voice. It was Angie. She's human Angie. She's not like us. That panicked voice belonged to Donna. What did she mean you weren't like them? In regards of having whack powers, yes. But is there something more to it? The amount of blood she lost will kill her. She can't die. Donna was really panicking. You wondered why. What was going on in her mind? What is the game plan? Couldn't we make her like us? Then she would be able to stay with us forever. Angie's words terrified you. You knew Lady Beneviento helped ruled the village, but what else was she capable of doing? And no, not unless we absolutely have to do so. Good that Lady Beneviento was against it. Does that mean you will live as of right now? Why? Why do we have to wait for her to hit rock bottom to do that? You were praying that Angie would stop trying to push whatever she was wanting Lady Beneviento to do, because I would have to get it from Mother Miranda. You heard Lady Beneviento take a deep breath. I'm also afraid that she will take why and from me. Those words surprised you. For someone who has been avoiding you, you were surprised that she cared about you that much. Your breathing picked up out of nowhere. You actually weren't sure why you were breathing so heavily now. You found enough strength to snap your eyes open and sit up. Pain soon followed, causing you to let out a shaky breath. She's awake, Angie screeched. You winced in pain and covered your right ear. Lady Beneviento pulled Angie away from you with a whine, leaving the doll. Lady Beneviento then turned to you, looking you over. Her thin fingers brushed over the stitches on your cheek, sending a shiver to run down your spine. Lady Beneviento clearly noticed the body movement. Are you okay? Are my hands cold? She whispered. You nodded slightly and you felt your body start to heat up, especially your cheeks. Lady Beneviento was very close to you. She's never been this close to you. Lady Beneviento's hand then went to the stitches on your left shoulder. It now clicked to you that you were in your bra and skirt. You looked over onto the floor to see your ripped, white, bloody shirt. You felt your face flush as a rush of heat spread. You quickly wrapped your arms over your chest out of embarrassment. Lady Beneviento flinched back at your sudden movements. Miyakara, please don't make wild movements. I don't want you to open your stitches. Her voice was soft and honey-like, not at all raspy, and it was very clear. Your body shivered again as you started to gently rub your arms. Angie, please go get my zip-up sweater and a button-up white shirt in my closet. Lady Beneviento asked the pouting doll. Angie huffed and jumped off the work table. Her little feet clicked as she left the room. You then felt Lady Beneviento's arm wrap around your waist. Your breathing hitched as she pulled you into her. You were very surprised to feel how warm she was. Your face was very hot, but the rest of your body wasn't. You feel like you've felt this warmth before. But where did you feel this? You closed your eyes, releasing the breath that you've been holding in, and leaned into Lady Beneviento. You felt her whole body go stiff. I guess she wasn't expecting you to give in. You could hear your lady's staggered breathing, almost like she was anxious about the situation. You weren't sure how to tell her it was okay, so you did what you do with your mother. You nuzzled into Lady Beneviento's exposed neck, hoping that she would understand. It seemed like she did, and you felt her body get warmer. You could honestly just fall asleep in your lady's arms right here and now. What the hell is going on? Angie burst into the room with the items in her little arms. Lady Beneviento didn't flinch like she normally would when Angie would do that. She seemed so lost in thought, occasionally gripping you like you were going to fall. "Hey Dawn," Angie shouted, snapping her wooden fingers. "You may be keeping her warm, but you can't forever." Lady Beneviento snapped out of whatever thoughts she was lost in and pulled away from you. She helped you get on the white button-up shirt, then the zip-up sweater. Lady Beneviento held out her hand. You gently took her hand and stood up. You wobbled, and luckily Lady Beneviento was there holding you up. You were expecting her to take you to your room, but nope. She took you to her room, and it was huge. The bed was 2 times the size of yours, but it looked so soft. "Sit," Lady Beneviento commanded. You did as you were told and took a seat. The bed was very soft. Lady Beneviento pushed you down onto the bed and started to cover you up. You didn't know what you were thinking as you lazily held up your left arm, ignoring the pain, and pulled your lady down with all of your strength. Lady Beneviento gasped as she made contact with the bed. You turned yourself to Lady Beneviento and loosely wrapped your arms around her, making the point of what you want very clear. "Hey, what about me?" Angie asked, jumping up and down on the bed. You smiled and nodded at Angie, motioning with your finger for her to come join you. Even thought Lady Beneviento was very tense. She laid flat on her back, allowing you to lay on one side while Angie was on the other. You were on the right side of your lady, and once again you nuzzled into her neck, a content sigh leaving you lips. The fear you had for your lady was temporarily gone, maybe perhaps forever. She seems like she doesn't want you to leave and even went through the trouble of stitching you up, not to mention the words you heard come out of her mouth. Lady Beneviento was terrified of getting Miranda involved in the injury. You still wanted to know what was going on,